What's up, guys? Today I'm back again with another SCP-028 knowledge. Let's see what is going about.
Though it hasn't shown any signs of expanding, and there have been no notable changes in size, position, or area affected, the SCP Foundation still maintains firm control over the area. 2 armed personnel are constantly stationed outside a concrete room, where inside, 2.1 cubic meters of space is sealed off. Nobody is allowed in, at least unless they have the adequate security clearance to be granted access. For everyone else, it remains a restricted area. Even if someone is permitted to enter, they're advised to take extreme care at all times. The room itself is empty, or at the very least appears to be. And while those entering it or leaving are usually unharmed, every so often, someone comes out forever changed. After all, that's what knowledge does to you. SCP-028 is an anomalous phenomenon that is isolated to a small area of an abandoned storage yard. The yard itself was bought by the Foundation from the previous landowners, along with the nearby copper mine, located in northern Michigan. Any information providing proof of ownership or the history of the sale has been removed from any publicly accessible database, and the surrounding area is guarded by Foundation patrols. Should any civilian be found to have accidentally entered the area, either on car or on foot, then agents posing as officers of the Michigan State Police will intervene. Most security incidents are resolved quickly, with undercover Foundation operatives offering directions to civilians that have become lost and inadvertently come too close to SCP-028. Those who do not comply are to be taken alive, administered with Class A amnestics, and then driven to the nearby town of Redacted, Michigan. The room that now contains SCP-028 was constructed by the Foundation Anomalous Engineering Department. A plain concrete structure was built around the measured radius of SCP-028, simple in design, but necessary to contain its effects. The anomaly itself has no visible or physical presence, and is not detectable or observable via any other means, either anomalous or non-anomalous. However, through testing, researchers were able to determine that SCP-028's area of effect forms a perfect 7-foot cube around a central point. This information was used to map the exact dimensions of SCP-028's area of effect as accurately as possible. Any and all forms of scanning, from thermal imaging to full-spectrum analysis, has been performed on the area. No abnormal readings have been detected. Those entering the area of effect describe no changes in temperature, elevation, or any other factor that could be used to build a better picture of the imperceptible anomaly. All that can be felt by those entering the affected area is SCP-028 itself. The Foundation has even gone to great lengths of trying to manually alter the size and shape of SCP-028's area of effect by adding and removing objects from the space, even going as far as to remove dirt from underneath it. But nothing can seemingly alter the area of effect, nor how the effect itself occurs. Whenever a human subject enters the area of effect, the symptoms of SCP-028 will normally manifest within a short window of 3 to 6 seconds. At present, no cases have surpassed this 6-second maximum. Should an incident occur wherein the effect occurs any time after the duration of 6 seconds has elapsed, then this is to be reported to both Dr. Gears and Dr. Cardinal immediately. In every observed case so far, though, the effect of SCP-028 occurs as follows. The subject will enter the affected area, wherein within 3 to 6 seconds, they will spontaneously develop the total and complete knowledge of a subject. Every piece of information they now have access to has been verified as being 100% factual and accurate. In some cases, some subjects have gained knowledge so precise that it described facts unknown to science at the time of their exposure to SCP-028. To account for future incidents of undiscovered information emerging from SCP-028, the Foundation requires all exposed subjects to fully disclose the exact details of their acquired knowledge. The effects of SCP-028 can be experienced multiple times, should someone exit and then re-enter the area of effect. However, this is not advised, as it has been known to result in increasingly strong migraines and prolonged dizziness after the first 2 exposures. The Foundation maintains a partial log of information obtained via exposure to SCP-028, Among the notable examples are one person who, upon entering the area of effect, could recite every entry in the 1998 edition of the New York City phone book. The information was completely accurate, verified against a physical copy of the phone book in question. However, the knowledge attained by this subject naturally did not reflect the entries in subsequent editions.
Okay, so what we know so far about this thing, this SCP is not a physical being or something like that, but it's a place. So the SCP found, why am I talking like this shit? The SCP Foundation quarantined the place, but there is no way that they can make it smaller or destroy it, because they tried. And once you go into the place, you know stuff.
Another incident involving SCP-028 occurred when a different subject, having passed through the area of effect, developed a blueprint for a total redesign of the internal combustion engine. The core difference in their design was that they had perfectly detailed how to create an engine that ran on human blood, and that could be built with pre-existing parts. Fully converting an internal combustion engine into the redesigned version took only 4 hours, and appeared to run at a higher efficiency than those powered by gasoline. The Foundation is working to expand the use of redesigned engines. As part of its renewable fuel initiative, it is coordinating with site sanitation and personnel transport teams to repurpose human blood from SCP-682 containment breaches as an alternative fuel source. The Foundation emissions calculation report estimates that 100% of internal combustion engine vehicles will run on human blood by 2030. Thanks to SCP-028, one subject learned of the exact location of a set of keys to a Buick LeSabre. This initially appeared to be another instance of knowledge that didn't exactly have far-reaching applications. However, the keys actually belonged to a specific 1975 Buick LeSabre, driven by mob hitman Jimmy the Legs Scarpelli. They had been left in the ignition of the car, and a brick placed on its accelerator in order to send it into the depths of redacted River, New Jersey. The trunk of said car also happened to contain a city councilman who had been kidnapped by Scarpelli. Given that police never found the vehicle, there was no evidence ever tying him to the disappearance or murder. With the knowledge of the key's location being learned through SCP-028, the Foundation disseminated this information to local law enforcement as an anonymous tip.
Okay, so bear with me, don't fucking go. This place, it gives you knowledge that is good but also bad. I mean, that car engine that runs on human blood, that's shit. But I mean, if you use like the SCP's Foundation, fuck, what is wrong with my voice today? If you, what do you say, fuck, if they use, like they told, sorry, I don't know what's going on. So if the SCP Foundation use the blood of the dead people that's being killed by the SCPs, I guess it's okay. But actually not, because you know, SCP Foundation is sometimes a bit shady. And another thing that it said about the car with the dead councilman, that actually good. So maybe this SCP is a good thing.
After scouring the river, they found the keys still in the car, and the drowned councilman targeted by Scarpelli for undermining workers' unions. All murder charges against Jimmy Scarpelli were dropped, given that he was in his 60s at the time of the discovery, and after a court ruled in favor of justifiable homicide. Less real-world applications was found for a subject who learned the entire history of the Blackthorne family of London, England. Attempts to publish this extensive knowledge as a biographical book led to a protracted legal battle between the family and the total stranger, who somehow seemed to be an expert in their lineage. One subject who gained the complete knowledge of how to care for a mole rat colony from SCP-028 subsequently changed careers and began to work in mole rat conservation. The Foundation makes regular checks on him, and he seems to find the work more fulfilling. In all these cases, knowledge gained via SCP-028 is perfect, totally complete, and eidetic. As for the specific subjects learned about, there appears to be no correlation between the person exposed to SCP-028 and what they will gain total knowledge of upon exposure. Knowledge obtained via the effects of SCP-028 is entirely random, and can either be highly useful or have no practical applications whatsoever, as well as ranging in specificity. Someone can, in theory, gain knowledge of the entire Roman Empire, or just everything that occurred on the day Julius Caesar was killed. Some of the information gained through SCP-028 has posed a significant risk to the Foundation. However, at present, there remains no way of predicting what knowledge will be imparted to someone via the anomaly.
Okay, so just off my... Fuck. Let's try it again. Just off the tip of my head, I'm thinking now, it says that they don't know what knowledge the thing will give them, but maybe those people that they sent in don't have questions. I wonder if you, like, let's say for me, I go in there, but I don't go with an empty head. I go with a set of questions that I wanted to be answered my whole life, but I did not have the answers. I wonder if this SCP will give it. It's just a fucking example.
Until after exposure has already occurred. In one instance, a subject who stood in the area of effect quickly obtained information on the origins and exact whereabouts of 12 different SCPs. In all but 2 cases, these anomalous objects were already being held in Foundation containment, and thus this information being imparted by SCP-028 constituted a significant security breach. Even though in the additional 2 cases it did lead the Foundation tracking down and containing SCP-redacted and SCP-redacted, the subject could not be allowed to retain such sensitive information related to anomalies. Naturally, their first course of action was to administer amnestics. But there was a problem. Following this case, the Foundation has determined through testing that any knowledge gained via SCP-028 exposure cannot be rescinded by any known means. This includes administering amnestics. Chemical analysis confirms that SCP-028 exposure does not interfere with their absorption. MRI scans show no abnormal activity in the hippocampus or temporal lobe that would inhibit memory retrieval. Yet retention of all SCP-028 knowledge remains perfect and complete. Post-mortem examinations have revealed that the brains of subjects undergo no physical changes after exposure to SCP-028. The research project involving continued autopsies of those exposed to SCP-028 has been temporarily suspended by the SCP Foundation. SCP-028 was discovered after reports surfaced of a coppermine worker making a startling revelation. The man had submitted a design to the United States Patent Office for a fully functional cold fusion reactor. If approved and manufactured, the man's reactor could have ended global reliance on fossil fuels. According to the news reports, the idea had just struck him like a bolt out of the blue one day after having visited the storage yard next to the mine he worked at. The Foundation worked to suppress the news discussing the man's cold fusion patent, and sought to track him down to interview him. However, he was found dead shortly after. Evidence gathered by the Foundation suggested he was killed at the behest of Redacted, the largest oil and gas corporation in the world. In a benefit for their own ends, the Foundation was able to obtain the man's designs and the patent, and has since implemented them in the containment of SCP-1995. And in a small victory, if not for the news of this man, SCP-028 might never have been discovered. As for their own subsequent testing with SCP-028, it's yielded mixed results, to say the least. Incident E-127 saw a Foundation agent stationed at the site containing the anomaly accidentally exposed to SCP-028's area of effect. Immediately after, the agent was seen expressing sudden surprise and bemusement, before requesting a moment to gather their thoughts. After this, the agent then shook their head, laughed, and proceeded to draw their service pistol. Several fellow agents were killed, and an on-site Foundation doctor was wounded. He was eventually restrained and interrogated, revealing that they had gained extensive knowledge of classified Foundation activities from SCP-028. Much of this pertained to several anomalous objects he had not been previously aware of, including the Foundation's procedures surrounding SCP-2669. As this once again was an incident of Foundation intelligence being disseminated randomly via SCP-028, measures were taken to prevent further information of SCP-2669 being uncovered. Its entry in the SCP database has been concealed by a page that claims the designation number is simply a placeholder. A tribunal is still yet to confer over the affected agent's fate. Any personnel who enter SCP-028's area of effect are to be detained indefinitely. Tests with D-Class personnel have had similarly unusual results. During Experiment 189, Subject D-9843 was exposed to SCP-028, only to start exhibiting abnormal respiratory actions several hours later. This was the first noted incident of an apparent physical change following exposure to SCP-028. Medical examination and then later questioning of D-9843 revealed they had gained the knowledge of how to recycle the carbon dioxide inside his body. A number of repeated attempts were made to teach this skill to other members of D-Class. However, when these failed, D-9843 was terminated. An autopsy revealed no abnormalities in their respiratory organs. There is, however, one SCP-028 experiment that nobody within the Foundation wants to acknowledge. Those found discussing the outcome of Incident E-112 are to be reprimanded or given amnestics without exception. When a different D-Class, D-1182, entered into SCP-028's area of effect, they immediately began weeping, and were witnessed dropping into the fetal position. Whatever the knowledge they had learned was clearly so devastating that they found it debilitating. Attempts to console them failed, and they became unresponsive to all external stimuli for several days. They soon fell into a catatonic state and would only verbalize the following phrases: "This is not life. This is not real." It was quickly determined that D-1182 had gained knowledge about the truth of the SCP Foundation, that it is entirely fictional. Every anomaly, every site, every researcher, every member of personnel, and that included them. D-1182 fell into a coma and died shortly after, with their cause of death being attributed to shock. The Foundation has since banned all discussion of Incident E-112 in order to suppress the fact that their reality is indeed a complete fabrication. It's like we said, knowledge will forever change you.
Okay, so this SCP is not actually a bad one. Yeah. So I began to start. What the fuck? I started again to react to SCPs. If you want me to react to SCP that I haven't yet, leave it in the comments. And please do leave a like and subscribe for more. It's 2026 now. Come on, I just want my channel to grow a little bit more. Since I've started, when did I start? 2024 October. I think I made my first video. I've gained views, subscribers, and likes, but let's try to make it bigger this year. And the video is 20 minutes long. Okay, so please do leave a like and subscribe, and see you next time, I hope. Adios.